Hey guys, fashionably late again, but we are here. I'm Dennis, we have Tamara, we have Alex, and finally we are on a live feed together again. Seems like we get these stretches that we have stuff we're doing and we're not on here live, then we're finally able to come back, and it seems like it's been forever. And Dan, it looks like will not be joining us live tonight. I know he has some stuff going on, and hopefully stuff gets squared away and he gets back soon. So, couple things we want to talk about tonight. First, we want to start. Oh, there's Matt. Had to wait for the ads. How you doing, Matt? First, we want to start with the farm show. And from there, we're going to jump into a discussion that it's something Alex brought up to me at the farm show. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute here. So let's start with the farm show. First we got to say thank you to the Western Farm Show. This was the second year in a row. They allowed us to come in, set up a booth, and share missing persons cases with the public. And Alex, there was a lot of people that come through there this year.
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting like tons of echo on my side, so sorry
Oh,
for
man.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm here.
Sorry
Yeah,
for looking
sorry.
like a.
I'm getting like tons of echo on my side, so sorry for. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting like tons of echo on my side, so sorry for.
Wow, it echoed and played
Yeah,
twice.
sorry. I'm getting like tons of echo on my side, so sorry for. Wow, it echoed and played twice.
Someone have a phone on or another computer open? Oh, that did it.
Is it doing it now?
Nope, now it's good.
Okay.
It's Alex's view. Yeah.
I think it's coming on Alex's because when I muted him, it didn't do it. Then when I unmute him, it did.
I just muted mine. I just unmuted it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just muted mine. I just unmuted it. Can you guys hear me?
It's echoing again.
Hold on. I have a new camera hooked up on my laptop. Hold on.
Hold on, I have a new camera hooked up on my laptop.
Hey, Alex is so good that he's got to say it twice.
Okay.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did it
Yeah.
stop?
You're a little quiet, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I had a new 4K camera. Oh. I had a new 4K camera and I was trying it because this high dollar laptop has a crappy camera.
Gotta love technology. It can be so good and it can be so bad.
It's actually still echoing a little bit. It's real quiet, but it's still echoing.
Okay. What about now?
I don't hear an echo now.
Nope. All good.
Oh, he gone.
Yeah, we lost him.
Hey, Joanne, how are you doing? But guys, we had a lot of people come through the farm show this year, and it seemed like there wasn't as many vendors this year and not quite as many people as last year. But it was still an incredible amount of people that come through. And Alex is back. And speaking of Alex, wait till you see the next, well, the picture after this. This was the booth set up at the farm show. And this was actually taken. I know people's going to be like, you had your backs to it. This was taken before the doors actually opened to the public. We were waiting for it to open. But the TV screen played a video that was missing persons case after missing persons case. There's Alex. And Mac, yes, there were several people that come through there. So many people stopped and watched the monitor and the cases. There's Megan. There's my son, Brantley. Him and Cheyenne, they handed out hundreds of flyers. And they were worn out when we left there. But everyone had a good time. And again, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. I'm not good at names, but hope you are doing well. I've talked with her many times. Very nice person. And thank you for being here tonight. So I wouldn't mind setting up a booth like that at other events as well. I know Kansas Missing and Unsolved recently had a booth up at a mall in Salina getting cases out there. There's a small wrestling promotion that goes through the area that they're going to have a booth at as well. And I wouldn't mind having a booth in more events like that, just with the interactions with people and getting these cases out there.
If you guys can hear me, I had mine muted, and I have everything turned on.
Say, I didn't hear an echo that time.
Yeah, the whole time you were talking, Dennis, before I did, it was saying everything. It sounded like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't hear it either. It was fine on my end.
I keep messing with the set. I mean, all I did was plug in this new camera, unless it changed all the settings. But I thought if I left the studio and came back, it would.
Okay, Max says no echo now. It could be your camera might have a microphone in it too, so it might be getting a double. That's usually caused by a double microphone sometimes.
I have the echo cancellation on.
Okay.
And I switched everything back to default.
I'm curious, are there any updates on the search for Randy Leach? Nothing that I would call an update right now. I know Echo Divers plans on being back in the area with his drone and his kayak to do some searches. And we also have some searches lined up for Randy Leach this year. And we'll be bringing you guys along on that. And if we do get any updates, we'll make sure to get those out to you guys. So, Alex, at the farm show, you asked a question and brought up a topic that I think was a really good topic. And it led to the topic of discussion tonight. And before getting into that, we want to do a disclaimer, let you guys know this topic does not come back to any active case we're working on right now. We just know there's some things we say that it's taken out of context, or people will assume that it's to a particular case, but tonight's topic is not about any of the cases we're working on. But I think it's something that should be discussed. And Alex, if you want to kind of share what this topic is and how it come about.
Oh, we can't hear you.
You're muted. Can't hear you.
No. You went from too many microphones to no microphones. Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, log off and log back on. It's the age-old thing. Turn off the computer, turn it back on. Works every time.
I guess it's better than slapping it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you do that with the old machines, yeah. There's an old saying about engineering. It was some fancy way of saying basically hit it. There's some technical term that engineers use. It was I have a friend that's going to school for engineering, and they said it, and it's like, well, that sounds like hitting it. And it's like, yep, that's what it means. No. No, not yet. Out the window. That works too. Then it's gone. Yeah. I was going to say default to the phone.
No, Alex, you're not muted over here. Need to get Alex a notebook and a marker, and he can write it and hold it up.
There you go. Dry erase board. Yeah, no.
Cheyenne. We need your expertise.
Are you on your phone, Alex, now? Are you on your laptop?
Okay.
Okay.
Alex is on his computer on here. And when his mic is on, we heard a lot of echoing and feedback. And now we can't hear Alex now.
What about now?
Hey, there he is.
Good Lord, what in the heck just happened?
What happened was that you asked someone for help, which means it immediately fixes itself. So
I figured out what I did wrong. I had earlier on my browser, I had our show already setting up there, and it was playing in the background as we were going live. So it was hearing what was coming through my
Oh no.
and I just went through and switched all of my things, and then I turned off my mic, the volume of it. I apologize, everybody. I'm so sorry. Okay, so where are we now?
Oh, man.
At the
We were
beginning.
just fixing to jump into the topic that you brought up at the farm show. And again, disclaimer, this does not tie into the cases we're working on. It was a question Alex brought up that, you know, I've done some research on it, and this has been done in the past in other cases before Muddy Waters. So
Yeah.
really think that it is something that should be discussed.
Yeah. So here it is, gang. This is something I thought of the other day, and while we were at the farm show, I brought it up to Dennis, and we had just had a little bit of a talk, and so I kind of explained to Tamara. So basically, what would people think, or how would people react if they found out that someone that was missing truly was not missing? So basically, either the family initially thought that someone went missing, and then they found out that they were not missing, but after they understood why the person had disappeared, they went along with the missing person to keep them safe. Maybe they were caught up in drugs, or maybe it was a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend, or maybe there was abuse, in the home, either parents or, a sibling, there's so many variations. But basically, what if someone found out that this person who had been missing for, a few years, they were missing for 10 years, 50 years, whatever, and then all of a sudden we find out they're not? So how would you react if you were the one who was part of a team like Muddy Waters, or you were someone that was helping a family? How would you deal with it? How would you look at the situation? Would you think that somebody should be held liable, in a court of law, that they had known, but you had hardworking people who were spending their time and their money and everything looking for someone? So, I brought this up to Dennis, and Dennis and I had a good talk about it, and we thought it would be a good topic to talk about on the show and basically get people's opinion, our audience, to basically, what do you think? How would you feel? There's been so many cases where people have been found over time that were perfectly fine, that they just wanted to disappear and start over in life, but they had parents, they had siblings, some of them had children, So, we're just, how would you feel? We want to hear your opinion, how would you take it, and, how does Dennis feel about it? How does Tamara feel about it? Tammy and I have talked about it, and Tammy was like, I would be so disappointed, especially the ones that, have spent so much money out of their pocket in traveling and fuel, motel rooms, equipment, like the money I have spent on digital billboards when we were doing that, for Muddy Waters on behalf of people. And I'd done billboards all across the United States, everywhere from upstate New York all the way to California. I'd spent, thousands and thousands of dollars, on missing people billboards. So just curious, what do you think?
And Mac brings up a good point here. kind of a catch-22 depending on the situation. I wouldn't be as upset if it was for safety reasons. Completely understand that, Matt.
I agree, but unless parents or a husband or a wife or the children, let's say let's say Frank had been missing for 10 years and he had been involved with the wrong people and he owed some money to somebody. Well, what if you find out that the kids found out 3 years ago that Frank was alive, but to keep Frank safe, they're still putting out reward money. They're still bringing people in to go look and still making it appear as if this person is still missing. I could see if they ceased and stopped all search efforts and it's like, you know what? We've exhausted everything. We have looked and looked for Frank all these years. We have done this. We have looked for, Beth for 25 years, and we're just going to stop, and it just ends. And then a few years later, it's like, oh, poof, ding dong, look who's at the front door. Hi, basically. How would you, especially if you worked on this case, how would you mentally deal with it? Would you be like, yo, just a few years ago, we were spending money coming up here walking with you, and you knew where this person was, and you had us come and donate our time and our money and our efforts to help, but you knew, I guess that's how I kind of was just curious, like, how would this make you feel,
See, then you have the law enforcement side of this that, different departments across the nation, their budgets are different, which is typically the bigger budget. You have more population in the area and a lot more cases they're working on. And when you break it down, you essentially have almost the same budget per case across the board. So you've got law enforcement putting in limited resources, money out of their budget, time, effort on a case that they may not be missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, some of the research I found or that I did, is filing a false missing persons report is considered a crime as it falls under the category of filing a false police report. And it's punishable by law in most jurisdictions, meaning you can face legal consequences if you knowingly report someone missing when they're not actually missing. And to me, that's going to also cover, initially you thought they were, but then you find out they're not missing, you find them, but you continue the narrative, then you're still pushing that false police report to me.
Exactly.
And the key element is you must have knowingly provided false information about the missing person to constitute a crime. But knowing something and not going in to fix it, you're still providing that false information because you know the truth and you haven't clarified that. And depending on the location and severity of the false report, penalties could include fines, community service, or even jail time. But I know that's more along the lines of actually filing the report. But if you find that person's not missing and you don't contact law enforcement and say, hey, we found them, everything's good, let them confirm that, then you're still pushing the narrative that they're still missing, and law enforcement's going to continue working that case. And at that point, it becomes a crime, in my opinion.
Yeah, because in that situation, it's something that if you realize that this person's, in hiding basically for a good reason, I think the police's response would probably be, you should have informed us so that, we knew about this, we won't like broadcast it, but at least we'll know to stop investigating this. And then, like you said, then you can allocate those money to other people that, their whereabouts are unknown. So, because I think it would definitely be frustrating and difficult at first, but I think it would be case by case on the situation. What was the reason why? Because sometimes there is a good reason, but it's at the same point you want to do the right thing would be to let people know that are searching, what's going on. But then, like you said, it does give a perception maybe you stopped. Because I've actually seen cases where so-and-so has been missing for so long and they just stop searching, and then they get a huge backlash from everyone saying, well, you don't care about this person anymore. Why'd you stop searching? But maybe there is a good reason why, we just don't know. Maybe, it could be one of those situations. So it's hard to know what the right thing to do is, but then some of it's also, do you keep up the pretense? Do you let law enforcement know, or do you have that worry that maybe something will slip and someone will say something to someone and it gets out? And so it's a hard place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so tough when you work cases there's cases that are so cut and dry. There's not a handful of rumors. There's not a handful of accusations. It's just, hey, this person left. They didn't come home. They didn't come home after work. And then you have cases where this person didn't come home after work, and then you hear 100 different rumors and accusations and theories. And you look at all of these, and it's like, well, there's so many avenues of why someone could be missing, and any of it is actually true. Any of it could be true, pretty much, But it's just what could be the consequence if just somebody outrightfully knew from the very beginning that, hey, this person got involved in some shady stuff. They were scared, so they disappeared. And in order for us to keep them safe, we went along with it. But then the lie kept on for so long that how do you stop the lie?
Yeah.
And then there's the people that went missing and families thought they really were missing. And then they find out, well, no, we just disappeared because I was in fear for my life, or, this was happening. And families knew, but then in order to keep this person safe, then they kept the lie going. They kept the story going, basically. So,
I think some of the police responses, they should have gone to the police and we would take care of it. But I know sometimes that doesn't even feel safe either. And you may not make the right choice, and that's just the one that you made. So I think some of it is situational, because it's going to be like, when did you find out? And then when did you, if ever, did you tell someone, after finding out? But I think if the worse of the situation and the more of a cover up it is, I think the worse it is. So,
yeah.
And I'm kind of with Mac, if it was truly safety reasons, I'm going to understand it a lot more. But there's some situations that personally I would be really ticked personally.
Yeah.
Just speaking for Muddy Waters, I know how many hours that we've put into many of these cases, how much money's been spent to go out, do the searches, do all of this. Alex with the billboards, bringing up a case, Alex and Tammy, they went out of state and dug up a backyard. That's not cheap. That's expensive.
Yeah.
If that case happened to turn out like that, which I'm 100% confident not the case and not the situation in that case, but it would be heartbreaking, frustrating, and I would be ticked. That's hours and money and effort they could go into a legit missing persons case that essentially got wasted on a case that somebody truly wasn't missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think, because I think that's probably the hard part, is that it could have gone, the man hours, the effort, and the funding could have all gone to a different case that was more, that was someone who truly was missing. But at the same point, there's kind of like another way to see it. Because one, it is what it is at this point. But if you focus on like, so when we did this, we learned how to do this and we learned how to do that. So you can take the lesson too and say, okay, well, what are the positives that came out of it? You still deal with the disappointment, the frustration, being upset, and, the loss of all this that, the woulda, coulda, shoulda things. But at the same point, you can also say, yes, that's true. But then at the same point, okay, well, we did learn this and we did learn this. So there was at least some value that came out of that. So it's just kind of trying to take whatever little bits of good you can out of it too. So.
And I like that thought and mindset, because when it comes to doing this experience, and I don't want to say training, but essentially that is training, hands-on training, that, the opportunity to get together and schedule a training day like that may not come up, but it did on a search, and you get together and you do the search and you're constantly learning. And any knowledge with what we're doing is invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess over time, as we do cases and we learn about them, and we look at every aspect of every case, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I have a hard time trusting what I'm being told, just because of some stuff that's happened in the past with us, and I feel like, I guess I it's not that I don't want to believe people sometimes, but I question if they are being 100% truthful with us. And we know 100% that we have been lied to.
Yes.
And I don't see the point in lying to people that are trying to help you. Especially when you travel multiple states away, you spend thousands of dollars in fuel, motel rooms, blah, 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 blah. We're trying to help you. We're trying to help families, this and that. And it's just like, you look at all these things and you like put it together and you're like, this just doesn't make sense. How in the world could, this happen like this, but there's so many things that don't point to that. And then there's things that do point to it. And then you hear, there's no way, absolutely not. And then you put it all together and you're like, well, which one do you weigh in which hand and decide which is the better scenario and what's the more realistic outcome to this story, So, and I hate feeling like someone's trying to pull the wool over, pull the covers over your eyes, I don't like that feeling. Yeah. I don't like it when we're trying to help people. Yeah. So,
yeah. And I can see, like, if it's just, where it's known for sure this happened and it does feel like a waste. But then if it's someone just saying something without any proof, and then you really don't know, it's like, so I said, I saw this, but it could just be, part of it is perception. It's like, how people, their image is very important. So that could be part of why they continue to cover up. They don't want to deal with the consequences. It's all about their image or their reputation for trying to continue to hide it. And also, seeking for attention if you're saying something that might not be true. But I have to do this. We need to talk about the experience. So I'm a big Star Wars fan. So there's a quote from the Clone Wars from Captain Rex that, in my book, experience outranks everything. So the experience, I think there's some value to the experience too. But at the same point, you want some good, healthy boundaries of, and and very justified being upset about it at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I guess in a way, it's kind of like when you look at cases and you look at all the rumors, the theories, the accusations, the hearsays. In my mind, it's kind of like, well, people that say they saw a UFO, and you ask them, well, what's your evidence? Well, I saw something in the sky in the dark. And you're like, well, what did you see? I don't know. I saw something with lights that were blinking, and there's only a handful of things that go across the sky at night with the lights and they're blinking, so it's how you look at these things and how you look at what's provided to you as evidence to make a decision on where do we go? Well, where do we look at? So it's I don't know. It's just
that gets fun when it's somebody that their best friends, brothers, girlfriend, sister saw this, and 2 days later, the great grandma's second cousin heard this. So this is the truth, and it is pushed hard as being the truth.
Yeah.
When it actually goes even beyond hearsay.
Yeah.
Because it's just something that's passed from so many people, it's going to change. It's like playing telephone.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up really religious, and one day the pastor was preaching. It was a Sunday morning. He was preaching a sermon on gossip and rumors. And he went to one of the pews and whispered in somebody's ear, and we played telephone. And by the time it went all the way through the church and come back up to the other side, nothing was even remotely close to what the pastor had said.
Yeah.
And that's sitting in a church. So when you've got information passing from person to person and then it comes to you, we have to stop and look, how many times did this change? What was added? What was dropped?
Mm-hmm.
And where do we go from there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that over time changing. And like when you talk about like UFOs too, a lot of it, the best thing to do, like you said, talk to the original witness, who actually saw something specifically. And then you can also, it's like a detective, you just ask specific questions. So it's like, well, where were you? What time of day was it? You can even like confirm what was the weather, and they say it was at this time. You can go to weather history and underground weather, and then be able to confirm that to make sure, because sometimes people forget dates or times. And then just ask them like, well, what did you see here? Well, what did it do next? And just sometimes you can get a little bit more detail out of it, because then they'll be like, they'll be trying to remember exactly every single detail. And sometimes you get something new out of it, or maybe you'll find something that, makes you question it too.
Yeah.
And guys, real quick, if any of you have any information on a case and it's come from your wife's best friend's great grandma's great uncle, second cousin, please still get that to us, because we still want that information.
Yeah.
You can still add it to the list, or you can go talk to the person directly. And
Yeah.
We could still do with that.
I always take pictures and screenshots of anything that I see. If something catches me off guard and I'm like, yeah, wait a minute here. This ain't right. I'll try to some way, shape, form of something, try to document it, because, it's if you're a busy person, it's really hard to remember lots of things going on in your life, so if you can write it down, you can record it, something.
Carry a notebook with me just for that.
Yeah. Dennis is the perfect example of documenting stuff. Like at the farm show, we had numerous people that come up and talk to us. And I'm telling you what, if they get about 3 sentences out of their mouth, Dennis is like, because he's taking notes, because evidently they want to talk and they have something to say. You know, a lot of people just come up to you and say, well, yeah, it was sunny outside today and I saw 3 birds and have a good day. And they walk off. You know, they said minimal stuff that would tell you what they witnessed. But when they tell you that I was driving, you know, north on 435 over on the Kansas side and I was headed towards the exit at I-29 and I saw this car and I saw this person get out and run across the woods and, you know, blah, 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 then, you know, you got to take notes, you know, like that to understand, you know, or, you know, this person saw this and this is what happened that night and so on and so forth. So, but, you know, I kept thinking, you know, about it, you know, that day while we're at the farm show. And I thought, man, just, you know, some of these cases, some of the things you hear in them and what you've heard, what you've discussed, what you find out, because it never really, I can't say it doesn't stop because it does. There's lots of times we get lots of stuff and then it ends. It stops. You don't hear from people no more. You know, you'll get people that will be texting you stuff about leads, about information, or I grew up over here next to this house. Perfect example. My oldest was his lineman's party because he graduated from lineman school. And one of the kids that he went to school with is a paramedic. And I had not seen this kid in probably 2 or 3 years. And we're sitting there talking and we start talking about, you know, the missing people stuff. And he's like, yeah, he goes, we just had a situation where there's this guy that went missing, you know, quite a ways back. And he says, we was at that guy's house the night before he went missing. And I was like, oh yeah. I said, well, who's this? And he showed it and it's one of our cases. So he starts telling me how he had been to this guy's house about 3 or 4 times within a couple-week period, and the guy was going through a lot of stuff in his life. He had just recently been married, you know. I can't remember, but I think 6 months to a year he'd only been married. But the boy I was talking to that was friends with, you know, our children, he basically said that the night before this guy went missing, they got called, you know, to the house. He is a paramedic in an ambulance. And he said he got in the house and this guy that's missing was on the floor. And he was talking about the demons were coming through the ceiling and the angels were outside on the roof trying to get the demons from coming into the house. And he said he was clearly having a psychotic, schizophrenic episode or something. I can't remember what he exactly was, how he was wording it, but he said the guy was having a mental issue severely. And he said, you know, they talked with him, they've got him calmed down. They checked his vitals and whatever. And I guess the decision that was called in is, you know, I think he's at peace now. He's better. You guys can leave. We think it's safe that you can leave. And they left. And the next day is when this guy went missing. And he's been missing since October 23rd. I think it was the day right after my birthday. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, you know, some of these people, you know, how things happen in their life and, you know, the turmoil and the issues and, you know, like the, you know, the kid that was the paramedic said, he said, you know, I've been to these people's house quite a few times, but, you know, we documented it. It wasn't like it was the night before he went missing, you know? So, you know, documenting and taking notes and trying to write down stuff and remember is so important, you know?
I've gotten the habit. I'll use my phone because you have that notes version in your phone. Or like you can do like a memo, do a recording as long as they're okay with it. Cause I write lots of notes. So it's hard to keep up with it. So yeah, the memo works good, or the, you know, notes on your phone. Cause I tend to lose those notebooks. So if I have my phone, I never lose my phone. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeing like that EMT, then you get concerned for them because he was there that day, went through that, everything was fine, told to go home, and then the guy goes missing the next day. I know I would be kicking myself. Could I have done something different? So your heart really goes out to those people.
Yes. And I kind of felt that he felt bad because maybe, this guy should have been brought into some type of mental health establishment to at least stay the night or something. And I don't know the rules 100% on how all this works. I know from, someone that's close to us that when, if a child makes a threat against their own life, that's held differently than someone who's out of their mind and seeing things and blah, blah, blah. But if you threaten to kill yourself, that's a whole different door that's opened, and you usually do stay the night somewhere. So
I believe it's from the little that I know, I believe this, if you're a danger to yourself or others, then they can, then without your permission, then they can have you do like I forget, there's a certain time period. It might vary by state, like 72 hours, 48 hours or something. We'll do a mental health assessment. You can voluntarily, submit yourself as well. But if it against your will, without, where the police are doing it for you, like in a wellness check or something, yeah, you have to show, a danger to yourself or others. And like you said, if you're just having these images and things like that, that's where that, like you said, that EMT, was probably assessing the situation. And at that time it makes sense, but yeah, it's always hindsight. But yeah, I agree, Dennis, that would be hard. And I'm sure they probably deal with that from time to time anyway. But, maybe at that time he was fine. And then later something happened but it still makes you second guess yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, Dennis, have we heard back from the one lady that we had met at the farm show that was the dog handler and the police?
Not yet. I do know that she wants a time that we can all sit down, drink some coffee, and talk. She seemed like she had some knowledge that could really benefit what we're doing and everything, and also be able to help us better understand the dog teams, their capabilities, and hopefully be able to point us to a dog team that, even if we paid the expenses of them coming out and doing the search, that we can call in on some of our cases.
So we talked with two ladies that were handlers. One was the one that we just talked about, who was law enforcement and all that. And then the other lady was, I guess we could classify her as a private handler. She was not law enforcement and all that. We actually spoke with her first, and we had asked some questions because I had questions of my own in regarding dog handlers and the different types of dogs between an air scent, a cadaver dogs, and then there's air scent, and then what's the other one?
Bloodhound. They'll follow the scent that's on the ground.
On the ground. So it was very interesting to talk with her because she explained to us that I guess in a way there's probably mistakes made more than not when it comes to a piece of garment, clothing, whatever, that when the air scent dogs and all that are looking for someone, and we're not talking we're not talking about cadaver dogs. We're talking about dogs that are looking for possibly someone that could be alive still and working off their scent. But I kind of felt like she said that a lot of times people, like parents, will go grab an article of clothing and give it to the dog handler, when in the end, nobody should touch anything except the dog handler, who goes and gets the item and presents it to the dog. That way the dog doesn't have cross-contamination of the family and so on and so forth. So I thought it was very interesting, and I learned a little bit from this lady. We learned some stuff from both of them, but because we've had some cases where we've discussed the dogs and thinking that, well, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. Why was the parents walking with the dog handler and the dog looking for the missing child? I would think that would be too much cross-contamination of smells, which could throw a roadblock to the animal, which would only think that as we're walking and the smell is walking, that we're technically going in the right way. And unfortunately, Tamara wasn't there with us to discuss that, but what was your thoughts on that, Dennis? It
was interesting. When, say, like if it is a child that's missing and they've called the dog teams out, that child's scent is going to linger on the parents for up to 2 weeks, even without being around the child. So having that parent out in vicinity with that dog, the air scent dog, you're contaminating the child scent with the parent scent. So it's going to follow both. So there's no way to guarantee they are on the right track. They could just be smelling the child scent on the parent and going wherever that parent had went. So it's the air scent, I would say, I don't want to say unreliable because it is still a very reliable method, but my understanding at this point is that one has the highest risk of cross-contamination. One particular case we have, there were several people that had been around the missing person, and yet they were also around the dog team and the dogs. So you're risking all that cross-contamination. And even though 2 sets of dogs went to the same area at 2 separate times, you still have people around that's cross-contaminating because one of these dogs also hit on a complete different location where there was nothing in the area cross-contaminating. So the air scent to me is a lot easier to cross-contaminate. It's all on the dog handler. And you brought up how nobody should touch the article of clothing or whatever. She was very adamant about that. That needs to be fresh to where the most scent on that article of clothing is who that dog is looking for. Otherwise, if it smelt me and it smells Alex, how's it going to know which one is missing to look for?
Yeah.
And real quick, Mac posted on here, not part of tonight's discussion, but read on Nug's Facebook page, Sam's son, Skylar, was in a bad car accident. I've never talked to Skylar. Sam and I emailed back and forth. It's been a while ago, but our thoughts and prayers are definitely with Skylar and that family, and prayers for a speedy recovery on this. Kyler, that's right. So hopefully he comes out of this okay. From what I've seen on YouTube, he seems like a good guy, and just thoughts and prayers with him.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely so.
but those two ladies, I'm pretty confident the second one will be reaching back out. It would be really nice to sit down with her and learn more from her. Really hopeful the first lady reaches out too. I know when you mentioned it and exchanging phone numbers and stuff, she kind of really seemed to back off pretty quick. But there could be a million different reasons for that. Not all of them bad.
Yeah.
She doesn't know us, so to her we're strangers. So I could completely understand not wanting a stranger to have your phone number. But she did take our card, so hopefully she will reach out because I think we can learn a lot from her as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We talked with. Let's see. We talked with the one gentleman who was on the fire department and he was on their rescue team. And then we talked to were they Amish or Mennonite couple?
I believe they were Mennonite.
And he was part of a search team that was out of Illinois. And
Yeah,
we
'cause they're actually based in a lot of states, but I want to say he was either Pennsylvania or Illinois where he was from.
yeah.
Illinois? Yeah, Megan said Illinois.
We had talked with a law enforcement officer who is retired, which we spoke with him last year. And he came and talked with us again. Hopefully he will reach out to us and we can discuss some of the cases in the past that he knew about in his time period when he was an officer.
Hey, and that officer, and I believe it was his wife that was there with him, that was really cool because one of the first things he asked was if we had any updates on a specific case that he talked about. And then when she come around, she said, I've been waiting just to come in and ask you guys if there was an update on this.
Yeah. Very, very nice couple. He was very nice. Hopefully, we made an offer to sit down with him. I think you offered to buy lunch, dinner with them. To sit down and talk about, the cases in their past that are some of our stuff right now. So hopefully they will reach out. So yeah, it was another good year. This year's attendance, I think, was down a little bit just because of the brutal temps that we had.
Right.
The show had less attendees this year, but if you're not from our area, depending on where you're at, it could have been, but it was brutally cold. I mean, there was a few days, I don't think it went above 0, with the wind chills and everything, it was negative every day. And the Thursday, the day that we took stuff into the show, it was just cold. It was real cold. And then it actually warmed up quite nicely while we were there. But overall, it was another good show. Showing the videos with missing people, handing out cards, giving away free shirts and koozies with the Muddy Water stuff on it. So hopefully, I think our numbers have gone up a little bit. Looking forward to next year. But we've got some ideas to run by some other, public type, possibly meeting scenarios. There's some other expo trade shows coming up. So we're definitely going to try and attend these and, be there to spread the word and do whatever we can and stuff. So I guess the pizza rolls are ready. So, but there's so much to learn from these people. when people come up to you at these type of events and, that either have been in this type of business in the law enforcement that deal with missing people or, anything like that. It's such a blessing to meet these people and talk to them.
Yeah, and I think it gives you such a unique venue too for people to talk about something, even something that they think is minor, might have a big impact on the case. And yeah, just being able to see that, just get the word out. And I agree. I think if you guys can do more of these, go to different ones in the area, that would be really cool.
Yes. And they, sorry, I'm still getting over being sick.
Oh, I know. I hope you're feeling better.
I am. I'm feeling a lot better. And I had to go get a haircut. And believe it or not, I have not gone and got a haircut in like 14 years. Tammy has been cutting my hair, but we had the party last night and my hair was, if I don't put gel in my hair and keep it combed, it's out of control because I have like 18 or 20 cowlicks on my head. So I had to shave the sides and do the comb over because I'm starting to go a little bald up here on top. But yeah. And I've had some people that have asked me, friends of mine, and they're like, why are you guys going to a farm show and putting on? And it's like, well, yeah, it's a farm show where there's, companies there promoting anything that's agricultural, ranch, whatever. But, they're still human beings. No different than if we went to a food, vending type trade show or, we have the home show, we have the guns and ammo shows, we have the RV outdoor fun camping shows. And a lot of people don't understand that putting up a booth at a lot of these type of events is not cheap. We are very blessed that the American Royal Association works with us and they donate a booth space to us. If not, it's anywhere from $500 to $700 for a booth space, like our booth. You get into the big booths where they have, like John Deere or Case or Bobcat, then you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And I know last year I had someone call me within a week, and I suspect we'll probably get this phone call again, but they wanted to know if we wanted to come to one of the home shows, and it was outrageous. And I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. We pay for all this stuff out of our pockets. We do get some donations here and there, and we are very blessed and thankful to get those. But in the realm of it, I said, we don't make a lot of money off YouTube by any means. We just don't have the subscriptions, the followers, so on and so forth. And I said, I can't drop $1,500 for us to be there for one day. We're not selling nothing. We're promoting. We're trying to bring awareness. And I said, if you can, if it would be a blessing if you would work with us, and we would be more than happy to promote your event, if you would let us, because you would be helping us just as much as we're trying to help. And, well, thank you. Maybe when you guys have some money, you can, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, bye-bye. I'm like, well, whatever, So yeah, we're going to hopefully talk to some more people. I know we have we did one year. We were at the Platte County Fair, but we all ended up with COVID. I think I was on my second round of COVID, and I think Dennis was like on his 12th or 18th. Yeah. I think Dennis had COVID more than anybody else I know at that time.
I know of at least 9 different times that I tested positive. There were several other times I think I had it but didn't test. But I had 9 different positive tests in like a 2 or 3 year time frame.
Yeah. So hopefully, we need to talk with them now. We talked with, and unfortunately, unless you're from our area, nobody has an idea what we're talking about. So there is the town of Weston, Missouri, which is kind of cattywampus in between Dennis and I. And they have the Weston Apple Fest. They have, what's the other one, Dennis, where everybody goes and drinks beer? Irish Fest.
Saturday night.
Yeah, that's every
I
week.
say Oktoberfest.
It might be Oktoberfest. It's one of those because it is after Apple Fest, and Apple Fest is right at the beginning of fall.
Yeah, it's in October this year.
So in this town, it's a small town, but they shut down the main shopping street, and everybody sets up booths, and they have food trucks, and their biggest thing is they have churches, and they make the apple dumplings with ice cream, and they sell them to raise money, and they have vendors all up and down the street. Plus, all the shops are open. So I would like for us to be able to get into that event. And hopefully we can get that done early enough that we can get into it. I've
contacted them on that and know when the application will be available.
But we have quite a few fairs. I think, Dennis, did you not tell me that? Let me think here. Was it Ricky from Kansas Missing and Unsolved? Did he put up a booth in a mall?
Yes, he put up a booth, the mall in Salina. I want to say it was yesterday he had the booth there.
Okay. Awesome. That's an excellent idea. I wonder if we should try that. Maybe we can talk to him how he went about it and get some, ideas of, what exactly did he do to set up his booth? Did he just put a table up with flyers and a TV possibly?
He had a nice booth set up.
Did he?
He had the table covers with Kansas Missing and Unsolved. He had a board up with missing persons flyers on it. I mean, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
It definitely attention grabbing.
Yeah. We have a question here. What's the barcode on the top right lead to?
That goes to our website.
Okay.
And hopefully here in the next couple days, it won't be the free version. It'll be a paid version. So we'll have a better, basically website name. Instead of just numbers and letters, it'll actually be a domain that we get to pick.
Okay.
So hopefully within the next couple days, it'll be that route. And that'll open up a lot more features too, and have some more interaction stuff on there. But if you have a new case you would like to report, if you have any information or locations of interest, there's places on the website now that you can report that on. And again, if it's something that you want to remain 100% anonymous on, we keep all of our sources anonymous. But there's also a P.O. box if you're more comfortable sending stuff into that you could be 100% anonymous even from us. And that address, it comes across the bottom, but it's also in the video description tonight, the P.O. box.
Yes. So one other thing that I thought we should probably talk about, and I should have told you all this before we started the show, but we were running behind and I was blabbering too long. So we are getting close to 3,000 subscribers. So I thought it would be really cool to start planning to do something special for us hitting 3,000 subscribers. I think we are at like 2,898.
98.
So we are getting close to 2,900. I think we should do some kind of special show, giveaway item, something cool just to say thank you, for being subscribers, so on and so forth. So I think maybe if we can keep doing, when we do our Sunday night updates, we can do an update on where we are at on subscribers. And when we hit that 3,000 mark, I think we should do a special show and give something away to somebody, something cool,
I
whether
like those kind of shows when they're giving stuff away.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, and we've gave stuff away lots of times in the past. I mean, we've done some TVs, we've done gift cards, we've done shirts, we've done stuff that was donated to us. We've had a few times where people never got their stuff just because of shipping things and stuff like that. I know I sent something to somebody in Canada and they never received it. So if you've ever won something from us and you didn't get it, please stay in touch with us and let us know. We will make it right. But I know we did a thing one time where we had bought a TV and I basically we raffled it. Did we raffle it off, Dennis? We drew names. Is that how we did the TV?
Well, I think we did it like we normally do, and anybody that commented, we wrote their name down.
Okay.
And drew names.
Yeah. Well, in the end, unfortunately, it cost more for me to go take the TV once I had it in my possession to go turn around and ship it to the person that won it, that I just decided to buy another new TV, and then I just had it directly shipped to them. So, basically, like I said, we're 100 subscribers away. Fortunately, we are not a big YouTube channel. We don't have, sometimes we have good shows where we have 20, 25 people on with us watching. Sometimes we have 3 or 4 or 5 people. So, we do the best that we can do. But I think we should, put that out there that, please like, share, subscribe, everything. And, we'll do something special when we hit 3,000, and then maybe we'll set a goal for 4,000, and do something special again. So,
seeing something that's come up quite often, magnet fishing. I've had people email and message about it. Are you guys going to be doing magnet fishing? I've got a few different times being scheduled this year that we're going to be magnet fishing the Missouri River, the Kansas River, a couple lakes, the Platte River, a couple other locations, and those will be filmed and brought to you guys. I tell you, one of the giveaways, something I've been wanting to do, will be a full magnet fishing set.
That would be awesome. I think it would. So, excuse me. I have not gone magnet fishing yet.
Oh, man.
I have one that Dennis gave me in the beginning. And unfortunately, we have just never used it yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that for the first time and trying it.
It is fun when you feel the clink through the rope when it attaches. And you're pulling it in, just trying to guess what it is. And it may just be shell casings, or In Megan's case, a swing set. she pulled a swing
wow.
set out of Stranger Creek.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, Mac's with me here. He says he has one, and he's not used his yet either.
Mac, you got to do it. You won't regret it.
I know how to do the regular fishing, but not I haven't done magnet.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
But no, we, the weather is starting to change here where we're at. It's going to be warm tomorrow. Then it's going to cool down a little bit, but we're going to have thunderstorms on Tuesday. And I think we're at that point where we start doing this. It's either nice and warm or it starts to cool. Then we have snow. Then we have rain. Then it's cold. Then it's hot. And then eventually it just stops and stays into going into spring. I know 2 years ago, I always go on my Facebook, on my memories, and I always add pictures, of the grandkids all the time. And ever since they've been born, I always add pictures every day if a year has gone by, so on and so forth. But I know the year before last, or 2 years ago, basically, the trees were already budding here. And that winter we had snow, but we didn't have snow like we'd had this year. But it wasn't as cold that winter either. And it's been pretty cold here. The last week and the week before last and into last week, it was brutal here. Like, it was just too much. But hopefully, we're headed into nicer weather. We have so many searches. Dennis, the sheet today that I looked at and everything, if we can just get, past these next 2 weeks where we actually do start staying in the 60s, on a daily basis, because I'll be honest, I have no immune system. I just look outside and I get sick. And it's been since I've had COVID. I cannot stay, and I get the flu shot every year. I drink immunity stuff on a daily basis, and I just cannot stay from not being sick. So hopefully we get past this coolness and it turns nice, warms up, and we can start getting out, boots on the ground. We've got cases where we got to get in the water. We've got cases, believe it or not, where we're going to have to load up my equipment and possibly go dig. And I'm talking everything from, in the woods to, it's going to be challenges. Pumping water out of holes and digging up what's in these holes and all kinds of stuff. So
Possibly even having to access an old lead mine.
yes.
One of those.
And we are blessed that so a few years ago, one of my sons had bought a boat, but he sold his boat. And now another one of my sons, he has bought a Bass Tracker fishing boat, and he is getting it prepped. And we are going to be, with him, he is going to be taking us out and places where, a bunch of us can get on the boat at the same time. So we just got to get the sonar equipment on it. We have situations where we'll have to use the little boat that Dennis has. We will use the boat that one of my sons has. We've got places. We've got so many things coming up. So we have the drones. Dennis has his drone. One of my other sons, he has his new drone that he's been flying, and practicing with, and I've told him that we need his help. So I just hope and pray that the next few weeks we can get out of all this. And speaking of Bo, where is Catfish? I think he got married. Did he not get married this weekend, Dennis?
I know he had said something, or he had told me that he was supposed to get married on Valentine's. And then on Valentine's, he, or I asked him afterwards, where's the wedding pictures? I want to see these. He said, unfortunately, her mom had a medical issue, so he had to take her and she had to fly to take care of that. So I think the wedding got pushed off, but I didn't want to dig too deep with him. But he was going to join us on a live feed once, and his phone that he had wouldn't let him do it. He got a new phone and recently told me that he's ready to join us on a live. So we'll be bringing Catfish on a live very soon for everybody to meet and just have a good old discussion with him.
Well, I just sent a picture of my screen, and I won't show his number, but I just texted him and said, "Where are you?" I mean, let's be honest. Bobby will blow your phone up at 5 a.m.
Yes.
So,
and normally it's a meme of a coffee cup or something like that.
Yeah. So I just said, "Where are you?" People are asking about you. No. Yeah, Mac. I don't know. He said he was getting married. So I'm not sure if I think it was a mail order bride, maybe. I'm not for sure. So I'm not for sure.
When he does join us, I'm going to have him send me another picture of all of his certifications, because I'd like to pull those up so everybody sees those too, so everybody knows that, he has the experience and all of that good stuff. And
yeah, he's an old law dog from what it sounds like. He is the Barney Fife of the fishing recovery world.
Now, I know fishing, he does a lot of catfishing. He's sent me pictures of 30, 40, 50, 60-pound catfish he catches out there.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to come up here. We'll have a fish fry.
Yeah. Well, he's talked about that. He has mentioned that in the past that he was going to. So
now he has a boat that he's been working on for 2 years now, doing some flooring, and the motor was rebuilt. He's putting together, and he keeps telling me it's okay to tell everybody this, but he plans on donating that to Muddy Waters. And when he comes up here, or if we meet him somewhere, however it works out, I think we're going to have a fish fry just because it's catfish.
Yeah. And I don't want to put his phone number out there, so I'm trying to keep you all from seeing it. But yeah, there's the new motor for the boat, and there's the boat, and so yeah, he's Bobby is a hoot. He's a very nice person, and I'm glad he's he chats with us on a daily basis. He's definitely the rooster of the yard, because he'll be the first one you hear in the morning. So I'll tell you that.
We get to pick on catfish, and it's okay because he dishes it right back.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's not answering me, so maybe he's on his honeymoon or something. No. But he's he messaged he hit me up yesterday, so you never know, he might show up here any second online. So,
and Mac was one of the first in a small handful of first followers on the channel, and Catfish wasn't too awful far behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, Catfish is he's shared a lot of stuff with us. You know, he's gave us some input on cases, what he thinks, and what we should be doing. And I mean, any of our guests, and we'll throw this out there. If any of you want to come on and talk with us, please, you are more than welcome. We can send you the link. If you want to come on here and discuss a case, and if you know of a case, even if it's not a case that's ours, but you know of something local to you and you want to get the word out there, then let us know and we'll do a show on it, and we'll try to help, but if you just want to come on and participate and be, on it, then by all means, please do. We are very open-minded people. And we're trying to do the best we can and help with these cases and stuff. So, and that's why a lot of times we get on here and we discuss things with you, and we ask your opinion. What do you think? I think one of the best shows that I think I'd ever been a part of was actually the show with Tamara, where Tamara did her thing. And we discussed the Summer Wells case. That was incredible.
Yeah.
That was an incredible show. I think it was one of our best shows with the most amount of people that was watching and participating.
Most interesting, too. I mean, everything about it was great.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to do it again anytime you want to.
We will have to take you up on that. So, but there's just so many cases, so many things, so many people, so many. It's just, there's been so many times that Dennis and I have talked for hours and hours, and we've ran stuff across, and then there's days where, we don't discuss anything for a couple days, and then we discuss something new, and then we talk about this, and then we think, well, what do you think about this? Or I was watching this show and I just learned this from watching this documentary on Netflix. And what do you think about that? And I don't know if anybody has watched, but the Gabby Petito documentary, holy smokes. And then I start seeing on TikTok all these people that are saying that Brian Laundrie, however you say his name, that he's still alive, that he is living in the woods, and these people keep seeing these guys that look like him, and they keep confronting him, and this guy keeps running and stuff. And they're trying to look at it, like a scientific way, and they're like, hey, this doesn't make sense, the guy was only missing for this long, and blah, 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 blah. But that was a really, really, really good little documentary about her.
Yeah, I watched that too. It was very good because, you hear bits and pieces from the news and not everything comes out. And it was well done. Yeah, I mean, there was so much video already from, her YouTube and, Instagram and all that, but it was interesting. Probably what it seems to be a fairly true story. And I wanted to say thank you, Mac.
I finally got to the point that we discontinued our dish service because, I pretty much all of my TVs are smart TVs now, and watching Netflix and Prime and Paramount and all these channels. And it's like, why in the world keep paying $100 a month plus to have that when, I can have all this stuff on the Roku or Fire TV, and it's just incredible, But I really do love watching documentaries on Prime and Netflix about missing people. They do such good jobs, and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm watching one now. I think it's called the Texas Killing Fields.
yes,
That one's been, I haven't gotten through all of it yet, but that one it's very interesting because it's with I'm going to probably get the name wrong, but the Texas Search and Rescue. We're kind
yes.
of that main group where they kind of got their foundation. So
Thus, the main guy from the Texas Equine Search,
yes, Church, yep.
his daughter was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Dennis? Isn't
I
that
believe
correct?
so.
Yes, yep, it was. I just got
Yes.
through that part of it. Yeah, it's it goes back into the 80s and everything. I mean, it's very interesting to watch. You know, a lot of these, you always take a lot of shows with a grain of salt, but I think a lot of these are doing a really good job. It seems to be, focusing on at least, the evidence and what they've seen and where they're at now. So
Yeah. Yeah, I watched that one. I think I watched that one maybe 2 years ago, maybe early last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. That's when I think it was about 2 years ago when I really started converting to watching everything on the smart TV, and I was like, man, this is pretty good, So
I think we changed about 5-6 years ago. When we moved, we just didn't take Dish
Yeah.
or whoever we had at the
Yeah.
time, and just started using the apps.
Yeah. But the
I want to jump back up to this question real quick. You talked about a case around Lake Ontario. Any news on that, or is that search upcoming? This would be Chad Smith, Danny Higgins, Jamie Lefebvre, Michael Cummings, and Robbie Rumble. They went missing March 17th, 1995. They took a boat out on Lake Ontario and never made it back. I don't have any updates on that. I do want to do a search up there, but that lake is so massive that it is taking a lot of time to try to kind of narrow down an area that we would need to search. When you look at all the currents, different currents that's in that lake, where it could have moved stuff. So that's a search I would like to do in the future. There's just a lot of work still to go into that to know where exactly we need to be on that lake. That is a massive lake.
yeah.
And we'll have to do a show just on that particular case, because there is a lot going on, at least as far as the case goes. There's a lot of different things with this one, and I think it would be really good to have that discussion with everybody, get everybody's input and thoughts. And even Tamara, this one would be really great to do kind of what you did with Summer Wells on.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Yeah, I don't know anything about that one, so that'll work out good. The less I know, the better. So
Yeah. We will definitely have to maybe at the end of the month, if you would like to do another episode like we did like that.
sure.
Maybe we can let everybody know, and we can start prepping for that. So
And yes, they did go out in a boat. I believe it was a stolen boat, that they stole a boat and went out on the water. The only thing that I know that's been recovered was a cooler that they believed had been on that boat as well. But the boat and all the individuals, none of them ever have been found.
Was there drugs involved, or were they?
It's believed alcohol may have been.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like there's that kind of drugs are involved, just being goofy, silly, and not kind of being a little out of it and not paying attention to what they were doing. And Harding and yeah, off the
And-
top. But yeah,
And that's a very scary lake to be incapacitated with that stuff and going out on.
yeah. And I don't know what the weather was, if that had any effect. But yeah, those big lakes, they can get some huge waves, even if there isn't a storm. So
Yeah.
I remember years ago, we went to when I was going to church and everything, we went to a youth conference out in Akron, Ohio. While we were out there, we went to Cedar Point and got on the ride called the Demon Death Drop, which I thought was weird coming from church and getting on that. But it basically you're sitting on this seat inside this cart and it pulls you up a tower. And we were overlooking Lake Erie. The lake come almost up to it, and you're like 200 feet in the air, and you can't even see the other side. I mean, you look one direction, you can see Canada over there, but just the waves that was out there and the size of the ships that were out there just blew my mind. I mean, coming from here, we don't see that around here.
Yeah.
And Smithville Lake, there was a time years ago we were out on a boat on Smithville Lake and we had it was 2.5 to 3 foot waves. And on the little boats we have around here, that was not too fun.
no.
So seeing those waves out on Lake Erie and knowing, Lake Ontario is going to be very, very similar to that. That's just scary. I mean, even sober, that's going to be scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do have an individual up there that they run a fishing charter company, and he would be interested in taking us out on one of his big boats and running sonar if we do get locations of interest to search up there.
That would be cool.
So were they American individuals? I believe they were Canadian. And the date, yeah, I believe they're all Canadian citizens. And I'll grab the date again. Yeah, March 17th of 1995 is when they went missing.
Oh, okay.
So that's another complication to this. A lake that large, individuals, if they went into the water back in 1995, that's a long time, uncontained in a body of water of that size.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say my lives near Lake Superior, but that is nowhere near Lake Ontario. So that's been like eye-opening for me too. Yeah, from coming from the Midwest, it's seeing like what their waves are like because they live not too far, really close to the lake there, and the town is really interesting because it feels like a beach town, like a ocean beach town, but it also feels like a lake town. It's very interesting. But yeah, their waves that they get in, especially in the winter, like November, it's just they can get up to like 60 foot, I think, at the worst.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, they've had lots of ships go down there. They're all the Great Lakes are, but there's like it's about 5,000 sunken ships, like big ships
Yeah.
that are just underwater since it's so cold. It
Yeah.
preserves them.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as filming goes, if we're going to run sonar, I'm going to have the camera attached to where it's only showing the sonar screens. Now, as far as viewing it, it might get a little bit boring because the focus is going to be on the sonar. Our focus is going to be on the sonar. We don't want to get, how to say it, we don't want to get distracted, I guess, by the camera and take our attention off the screen and possibly miss something on a sonar search. Because, in all honesty, say Alex is sitting there watching the sonar screen, I'm sitting back here filming. If he turns and he's looking at the camera and he's talking to the camera, that entire time, what he's gone over, he doesn't know if that's clear or not. You know, he didn't see the sonar screen to know it's clear and could have easily went over something. So we would definitely be filming it. If we're live, then it would be on a live feed. If we're not got enough signal or whatever to do it live, then it would be as a video. But the focus of it would be on that screen, and you wouldn't hear a lot of talking from us unless we're pointing something out on the screen and explaining what we're seeing, that sort of stuff. But we would definitely be filming that for you guys. In fact, April 5th and 6th of this year, we have 2 searches scheduled. One of them is a water search. We can't tell you what case this is or locations. The family and a private investigator that's volunteered their time to help the family have requested that we don't, just so evidence doesn't disappear in this particular case. But we will be, the family actually requested that we film all of our efforts on this. Before I even mentioned filming, it was requested. And they want us to show it to you guys so that search is documented. If the water's deep enough, we're going to run sonar. And there's a 99% chance, even if the water's deep enough, it's going to require getting into the water. April 5th in that area, that water is going to be ice cold. So I am looking at insulated dry suits and everything to be able to be in the water longer. But that whole thing, if we're running sonar, you're going to only be seeing the sonar screen. And that helps us keep our attention on that screen. And it also documents that entire thing for you guys, just in case we happen to miss something. You might pick up on it and say, hey, you know, if you go back to this timestamp, there was something there you may have missed. That's going to let us go back in and look at it and determine if we need to go back to that location. So having the extra set of eyes will be a big help. But everything we do on that particular search, you guys are going to see. That evening, we're leaving to go over to another state, and we're doing a search there on April 6th. This one, in all honesty, I don't know if we're going to find anything. I've already explained to the family and to the sheriff's department that I think this is going to have to be a major operation. And to know exactly what we need to do, what we need to bring, we got to go get our eyes on it. So this one is mostly going to be documenting this location so we can make a game plan. The sheriff's department will be on scene with us that day, and they will be coming out in a major operation with us and assisting whatever we need to do to see if this missing person's there. That will also be filmed for you guys. And that's April 5th and 6th of this year. The second case I can tell you is the Carol Solons case out of Cherokee County, Kansas, southeast Kansas, way down there. But the first one, we can't release information just based on, you know, credible information that the location could be tampered with.
Do you have the flyer that you can pull up real quick on Carol Sullins? Do you have it saved on the?
Let's see.
That way everybody can see who we're talking about. In Carol Sullins' case, will be one that if everything follows through, we will have to be excavating and digging possibly. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't have it saved on here,
Okay.
but we'll kind of do a recap on her case in the coming days and bring the flyer back up and everything.
And what year she went missing in 92? Okay, here we go. So, if you all can see this, let me try something here. This
Yeah, it was 91.
was it 91?
Yeah, August 31st of 1990.
No, it really doesn't seem that long ago, but I know it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that was just a couple years ago, right?
And yes, Carol is listed on the Charlie Project as well with a lot of information on it.
Let's see if this other camera picks it up better. Now that I know what I was doing earlier. Not so much. But this was her.
I might be able to try something. What's the name again?
Carol Solens. It's
Oh.
Karol Sullens.
Okay. Oh yeah, part of the Charlie Project. Okay.
And this one, hopefully, we're able to find answers while we're there. But with what we know already that we're looking at, I really think it's going to be a major operation to get down to where something may be.
Yeah. Well, this camera doesn't work all that well.
And hey, Alex, on that flyer, does it say how old she was when she went missing? I don't remember her age.
Well, let me look here because it's not coming up very clear, but let me click on the link. She was only 18 when she went missing. So she was born. There's actually a Facebook page for her. She was born December 23rd, 1972. So she's just a little bit younger than Tammy. But she went missing August 31st of 1991. So
In her case, there's another part of her case that bothers me. Two individuals they had arrested and charged in connection to her disappearance. One of the individuals cooperated 100% and turned on the other guy, who ended up getting to take a plea deal and spent 18 months in jail over this, and admitted that she is deceased, but he didn't intend for her to be deceased and did not have to release the location of her body. So that kind of troubles me that they gave him such a plea deal without requiring knowing where the body was.
yeah.
And I've spoken with Carol's brother multiple times. I've spoken with her dad, her mother. I spoke with the previous sheriff's department. Month and a half, 2 months ago, they got a new sheriff who has a whole new crew down there. I've spoken with I believe he's the captain of the sheriff's department. Very nice guy. wants answers. They just are finishing up all of the administrative stuff of such a major change down there and are starting to look into the cases that they have and just, offering to come out and assist any way that they can. And, I believe these people want answers as much as anybody. Very hopeful for that. Looking forward to working with them to hopefully bring her home and getting these families answers. I know talking with each of them, even after all these years, the emotions are still raw and still real because they don't have answers. So hopefully working with the sheriff's department and the family, we can get this search done and find answers for them.
Yeah.
And Mac says plea deals screw things up. Yes, sometimes they really seem to.
Yeah.
You would think the location of the body would be one of the number one requirements for that. But again, I wasn't there. I don't know all the details, so it may be something that I'm missing or not understanding, but it just seems like that location should be number one on the negotiations. Hopefully that officer from Lansing, Kansas will reach out. That's something I would like to talk with him about, kind of get his thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah, because believe it or not, he was on the force at the time that she went missing.
Right.
He was in that genre of timeline, late 80s up into the middle 90s. So, even though I'm sure a lot of things that people don't, I guess, understand, which I kind of didn't, it didn't sink into my head, was back in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, we didn't have people go missing like we do now. We only had handfuls of people going missing. And I'm sure that as those people went missing, all law enforcement agencies were probably getting some kind of things saying, oh, hey, this person's missing, 150 miles away, but it's still in our state. Here's the flyer. It just came across the whatever those things were they used back in the day.
Telegraph.
Yeah, telegraph, telekinesis prompter thingy. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm sure they had this stuff printed off and had it hanging up that, hey, so and so's missing out of here. So and so's missing out of here. Awesome.
Okay, I got it to work.
Sweet. So
Tamara is now our new IT person.
yep. We're
I
done.
have not told you my skills in that yet, so they're minimal, but I do know some.
Teletype. That's it, Mac. Teletype.
Teletype?
Yeah. I believe that was the thing that would print off the flyers and stuff, and they would go post it on the boards, as it would have pictures or case information and stuff. So, yep. You can retire now, Dennis, from all issues. It's going to be Tamara's job to fix our problems. Andy, picture this. Poof, there it is. So that was awesome work, Tamara.
Sure, no, you're welcome.
I barely can fiddle the settings down there to switch the cameras. So I bought this camera to use on my desktop when I was doing the shows. And I bought like a 4K one that plugs into your USB thing that will do it. Well, then I bought these new laptops. I bought one for me and Tammy, and they were pretty decently nice laptops. And they're like the 18-inch widescreen ones. And the cameras are absolutely terrible on them. They're like all foggy looking and dirty looking.
Oh, no.
So that's why I thought tonight, I'm like, I'm going to go try the camera off the desktop because it's supposed to be a decent, picture, and it looks better than the other one. So, but yeah, that's awesome.
See if I can get it to go away now.
Well, hopefully, this works out good with her case. And, so far law enforcement has seemed really nice working with us, working with you, Dennis, because you've been the one talking with them. But hopefully, they will talk to us and explain things. And, hopefully everything happens for a reason, and, we can move forward. So,
Yeah, he was very nice. He actually retired out of Olathe, Kansas, and was asked by this new sheriff if he would come down, and I believe he was a captain there. So he actually come out of retirement to go down there and help out. And just really nice guy.
yeah.
He come across somebody that they're going to do their job. They're going to be tough when needed, but when it's not needed, good person. So hopefully that's the administration that will help bring about answers in that case.
Yeah. Yeah.
The previous administration, I had several conversations with that particular sheriff, and it seemed all right to me. What I'm hearing is he lost his position over some stuff, and I have not been able to confirm that, so I don't want to share the details publicly without being able to confirm it. But he seemed like a nice guy. It just seemed like when it come to working on the case, we just wasn't getting nowhere. And a lot of that could be, this case, being so old at this point, not a lot for them to go on other than the theory that we're working on. It could have been something as simple as that, but it just seemed like running into a brick wall with the guy I'm talking to now there. It just seems open, and they want answers as much as we do.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everything goes well. We get down there, hopefully in April, that weekend, the weather is nice and we can, get to this area. We can get to all these areas in both cases and make some progress,
The first one that we're going to that we can't talk about, if we do not find this individual there, I'm going to be very surprised. Everything that I have found leads me to this area. The same with the others that I've spoken to that's related to the missing person or helping the family are finding the same thing. Everything is leading us to this area. So very, very hopeful we're able to bring answers there. That's also the one that Echo Diver may be joining us on. And it would be really great to have him there. His experience, he's a certified diver as well, has the equipment. And, I'd also just like to meet him. I've spoken to him on the phone a couple times. Really good guy. Watching his videos, he's doing what he can to help. I mean, he's a volunteer firefighter. Plus, he's traveling all the way up here looking for Randy Leach. He's going to be in Iowa this year. It's just a man who's offering his services to help.
Yeah.
Missing Black people, the forgotten. Hello, all. Thank you for being here. I don't know if this might be the first time I've seen them on here. That's pretty cool. Are you an advocate for missing people, or do you do searches? I'd like to know more about you. In fact, we spoke about this just a bit ago. Would like to have you come on, join us live, and okay, I know who you are now. Those of you on Facebook, there is a page called Unsolved. And if you are not following them, please do. They cover a lot of cases, do a lot of good. And again, we want to give you an open invite. If you ever want to join us on a live feed and discuss some cases, whatever, our email is in the video description. Shoot us an email. We'll get that scheduled, set up, and bring you on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know there's so many cases that they cover over there and get out, and just incredible work over there.
Yeah. Every bit helps. Helping each other, like I said, even if it's not our cases, helping somebody else with a case of theirs and spread the word, Absolutely.
They do podcasts of cold cases with families. That is awesome. Thank you for what you do. On top of helping find the missing loved ones, you're also giving support and love to the families of missing loved ones. And that is something they really need. So thank you for what you're doing. Seeing that, like Kansas Missing and Unsolved, they do their live feeds. They cover a lot of cases, I believe 2 or 3 times a week. They're doing the booth events now. Just so many good people out there helping these families. That's what it takes. And anytime you can get teams to legitimately help each other and do it for the right reasons, that teamwork is what's going to bring answers in these cases. I mean, we have some cases that I think we could probably work on until we can no longer get out there and do it. We may not be able to get the answers on our own. So working with others, looking at different mindsets, different ideas, different thoughts, that could help put together the puzzle and bring a missing loved one home.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I can say this, if this ever becomes about me, or I feel that I'm making it about me, I will turn this over to Alex and I will be gone, because this has nothing to do with me. It's all about the missing person, their loved ones, and bringing that person home.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure everybody that watches the show knows what kind of people we truly are. So I don't think anybody would ever think, that this is not, we do it for the right reason. So.
Wow, 10 years. That is awesome. We just passed 4 years back on February 7th, and I thought that was a milestone. In 10 years, man, that's incredible. And as Max says, team doesn't have I in it.
That's right.
And when it comes to making decisions and stuff with Muddy Waters, I hate making the decisions, just flat out hate it. And we have a board that's me and Megan, it's Alex and Tammy. I try to run everything, even the small stuff. I try to run by them, get their opinions and ideas on it, and even talk about it with the rest of the team, Cameron, Dan, Chrissy, Jeff, Chris. Get everybody's thoughts and opinions and form a decision based on everybody's input. Sometimes there's decisions made that I'll say, okay, we're going to do this. And it may be something I don't want to do. I think personally we ought to do this. But Alex may say, hey, but if we do this, and that, and it's like, you know what, that makes sense. While I might not be wrong going this way, it might be an added benefit to go Alex's way. I'll jump on the train and go, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I trust Alex as I trust you as much as family. I mean, you are family.
I appreciate that.
So that goes a long ways. And your mindset with this from day one, and this has been everybody on the team, or in all honesty, I would have pushed them out already.
Yeah.
But the mindset and the purpose and the reason for being here, it's simply to help these families and bring the loved ones home. You know, we've had cases that we've laughed together, we've cried together, and it's what it's about. You know, nobody on this team so far has had the look what I did or this is what I do.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been, you know, we're doing what we can to help these families.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Yep. Yep. That's you hit it. You hit the nail on the head on that for sure. So it's not been easy. So there's
poor Camera, the newest member on our team, didn't know what kind of craziness she's probably getting into with all of us.
No idea.
she has jumped in with both feet and has been an incredible help. And we are very thankful to have you with us, Tamara.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. So,
yeah.
We actually got to speak with her on some cases well before her coming on as a team member, and her willingness to help these families, the compassion that she shows with it, and the desire to help, you know, that's the kind of people I want to be around.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's definitely, I just want to help.
Absolutely. And it never, it's definitely not who did what, who, you know, the better, blah, blah, blah. It's just teamwork. That's all it is teamwork and working together and discussing things and, you know, working through thoughts and, you know, well, you know, just discussing it and trying to understand, you know, because, and like Dennis said, we all don't think the same. We all look at things differently. We all have our own opinions. And, you know, it comes down to, well, what do we think? You know, does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Well, I think this could have happened. Well, I think this could have happened. And that's kind of how it works. So, and just look at the evidence and try to make the most realistic, you know, decision on the facts. You know, what does the facts lead to? So he must have forgot about his pizza rolls.
Second plate. Oh,
Refill.
refill.
And it's Pepsi. It's not Saturday night.
Oh, I haven't had a Pepsi in so long. It's probably been 28 years now.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably been 20 years, 15 to 20, somewhere in there since I've had pop soda.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
It took me twice to wean myself off of it because I used to drink a lot. Mountain Dew. It was Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, orange pop, whatever, But yeah, it took me 2 times to eventually wean myself off of it. It's a hard thing to stop.
Yeah.
I drink orange Sunkist. At
Yeah.
home, it's Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, or Mountain Dew.
That's pretty close. Yeah, Sunkist is good. Sunkist has caffeine in it though, which is good and bad. I mean, it depends if you want the caffeine, but yeah, that's the only orange pop that does. Which is why I don't drink.
Tammy drinks Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Now, when I got sick with COVID, and a couple times after I had been sick, I needed something, and unfortunately, I did drink Sprite. But just till about 3 years ago, I literally went 20, 25, 24 years without drinking any pop whatsoever.
That's impressive.
But I was sick enough that I was throwing up, and that sick. And my stomach was killing me so bad, and I'll never forget drinking Sprite for the first time, and I'm like, oh, I missed this. It was so good.
It really is good.
Oh, but that's the only thing I have had when I've been sick with Sprite.
Well, the soda, the carbonation will help reduce the acid in the stomach. So it's okay. It's really it's good to eat it, if you're that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. My response is after the second time, I had gone for like a year without drinking pop, and I thought I was going to reward myself. I was going to have a sun-kissed orange after Thanksgiving, and I was so miserable the rest of the night. I was like, "That's it, never again." My body just said no more. It's like hadn't drinking it for so long. My body said, "Nope, you're not going to start this again."
Yeah. Ginger ale. I think I remember being little, and my mom and dad and even my grandma's giving us ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 51, so if that tells you.
Yeah, I'll drink ginger ale like if I'm flying and I feel a little nauseous and I have nothing else, I'll drink ginger ale.
Yeah. But man.
If I didn't drink soda pop, I would drink sweet tea, and by sweet tea I mean sugar with a little bit of tea.
Real sweet.
Well, living with Tammy, and Tammy being from the South, all about the tea. Yeah, and I'm not a tea drinker, so.
Oh man, I got like sun tea, but I gotta have sweet tea.
I like the sun tea, yeah, but I think it's more. I like the whole process of it almost more than the tea.
Yeah.
When I used to travel, and when I would go down, I went down to Huntsville, Alabama, and the gal that I was working with gave me her family recipe for sweet tea. So I have it because I was like, I had to try it at least once. And 4 cups of sugar. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, you might as well just put the whole brick of sugar in there. That's how it is in this house.
Yeah,
just take the whole container.
See, Tammy and I can share the same sweet tea then.
And they'll drink a whole pitcher of it on Sunday night dinners. Like tonight, since we have family in town, they're all at one of the kids' houses tonight, and that's where Tammy's at. So I'm actually at home because I was going to go there and take the laptop, and then I thought everybody's going to be there, and the grandkids are going to be, because I'm going to have to go in one of the grandkids' room, and they're going to be in and out of there. And I told her, I'm just going to stay home. I think I'll get more done with less interruptions, and because the grandkids, when they get in here and they see themselves on the screen, they're just like, well, we're on TV. How come we're not on TV and then the other TVs? They don't. So, and you all have seen them. They'll hang out. They'll hang out as long as I let them. So,
hey, before long, there's an opportunity they could be on other TVs, because at some point this year we will be streaming on Roku.
Well, that will be fun. Oh.
And Roku has had kind of a mix when it comes to people on here that watch Roku, but it's one of the largest platforms in the country. Got a thing from them because I've got a Roku channel already. I just haven't put nothing on it yet, but got an email that was giving the stats and their numbers and stuff. Over 90 million houses streamed off of Roku this last year. So it's like, I kind of like those numbers.
Yeah.
You know, we can get these cases out to so many other people.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the platforms here, you know, our YouTube channel, the videos and the live feeds, those numbers are always so much lower than what we get on TikTok. I mean,
Yeah.
I could put the same video up on, I'll put it on YouTube, then I'll download it, put it on TikTok. I get more views on videos in the first hour on TikTok than what we normally do on YouTube in a week. It's just amazing how people are set in their ways on what platform they're going to be on. And I don't want to leave YouTube because this is where we started. Our handful of regulars, Mac included, Mac probably number one. You know, I don't want to alienate them to focus solely on TikTok, yet I can't leave TikTok and just focus here because we're getting cases out to so many more people over there. And it just, man, never ending.
Yeah. Plus, we have a time limit on here where we are getting very close to probably being kicked off at any given second. Whereas with TikTok, there is or there is not a time limit.
TikTok, now, if we were just straight on YouTube, we wouldn't have a time limit, but here on StreamYard, we do.
Yeah.
And StreamYard doesn't work on TikTok, or we'd be able to stream live on both at the same time. So I'm still trying to find one that will work on both. And I did find one, but it was so complicated that it's like, I'm not even going to attempt this one. So still working to find one that I can do both of them at once, and that will cut the work in half of what's going on right now. But until then, it's still going to be putting stuff on both sides of it. And then with Roku coming up this year, that's going to add more to that. And then looks like it'll be early next year. I will be able to offer time slots for other people to air on the Roku channel starting next year.
So maybe you should let everybody know that, so they understand about the Roku, is you have owned your Roku channel since Roku basically was invented because you were going to do the hunting and fishing show stuff. And that's when you acquired a Roku channel, because Roku back then is nothing like it is now.
Right.
But you have still retained your channel and the rights to it and the rights to produce and show stuff and so on and so forth.
And the channel that I have, on top of airing all of our stuff there, also had the option of putting pay-per-view stuff up. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we are, how to say this, we are putting a movie together, and we had one route we were going to go, but it's completely turned now. But we are actually going to be shooting a movie, and it's going to be on Roku at some point on a pay-per-view, to where any money that movie generates all goes into the Muddy Water efforts. Because as you know, we're needing ground penetrating radar and some other equipment. So anything like that we can use those funds over here for that, it benefits all of us. And the layout of this movie, and I haven't even gone over this with the team yet. It's something we've been working on here, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. If we could pull this off, it's going to be crazy. But
If
Oh.
you need help with that, my husband does videography for his day job and loves doing it, and did offer to help.
yeah,
Either filming or video. And I also know, I think I know 4 other filmographers that have done a variety of different films. They're all small.
oh man,
So I have a few contacts. Depends on their schedule and all that, but they're, hobbyists that do this. So
may be able to pull this off. That would be cool.
That would be.
I can't wait to go over this idea and layout with the team first and get their opinions on it. And then once it starts coming together, keep everybody in the loop. But it started as just a simple, crazy idea that seemed unachievable. And now every day it's like, we could possibly make that work.
Yeah.
And Max says Tamara has the hookup.
Yeah.
Hey, Tamara's just incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
you look
Well,
up
I
in
know a
the
lot of
dictionary and you look up incredible, the definition is Tamara.
you're too sweet.
Well, she just pulled off putting that flyer up there in like a blink of an eye.
I work on the computer all day for work. This is like fun stuff. Like I can play with the systems and figure it out. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
She's
At
going to
work
start
it'd be
pulling
like, no,
stuff
I
up
don't.
left and right now.
At work would be like, no, I don't know how to do it, because then I'd have to do it going forward. So here it's safe. I hope.
No, I've never done that. I passed that project on to somebody else.
Yeah, you learn that really quick.
If somebody from your work sees this, we'll just tell them, hey, it's a scripted show.
It is. Yeah, this
You
is all.
had to say that.
There you go.
Right?
Well, she's here now, so she'll.
Here now. I've been around. I think I've been. I don't know how many. It's been a couple years. I think I've been watching your show. So.
Oh, at least you were. You know what? I'm going to have to go back and look at some of the old videos and look at the comments and stuff and see who all was there. I know there was a lot of our original regular crew that we don't see very often anymore. Some of them still text or email, but a lot of them are gone. I miss those people. Had
Yeah.
a lot of fun. And,
Yeah.
and that's what's been cool about this. We cover some serious stuff on here, some heartbreaking stuff. Sometimes some scary stuff. And I mean, you see some of the most evil things that a person can do to another person. And yet at the same time, we're still able to laugh with each other and have fun. Have nights like tonight where we're just relaxed, having a good time. We're just talking. I mean,
Yeah.
Randy talking. Megan says I talk too much sometimes, but sometimes I talk too much. Sometimes I don't talk enough. But read the room.
Yeah. No, we have a good time. We have good discussions and all of that, which that's what we need to do. That's how we, like we've said, we get through stuff and we work through cases, and that's just how we have to do it. And sometimes we jabber on and talk too long about things. People are like, next subject, please. So
yeah. How many nights though had we felt like we beat a dead horse for, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And for some reason, we just weren't able to get off of that subject. And then out of the blue, a comment that comes in that would be something that we had never even thought about. And it's like, wait a second, that case, if we put this there and help us potentially get close to a case. So
Yeah.
everything happens for a reason. Even our nonstop babbling happens for a reason.
That's right.
That's
For
my
sure.
that's my favorite saying. Everything always happens for a reason. So
Yeah.
everything always works out too.
Yeah.
Even if that reason is just to upset me, and it was a reason.
Well, so do we have some new case layout videos coming up this week to let the audience know about?
We do have a couple more that just come in the last couple days, and we'll get those out to you guys.
Yeah. I
There's been some that's been found that we've been working on. We were just asked if we found some missing loved ones in recent months. The ones recently that were found, we didn't really have a lot to do with them being found. We were working on the case, but it was sometimes it was law enforcement, sometimes it was another team that found them. That's something I ain't done in a while, is go through, and I tried to share them on Facebook, but I haven't done a video in so long of solved cases. And in fact, the case list that we have, just the last few weeks, the new cases that come in, once they're on the list, it's probably going to top 500. I did not think we would ever have that many, but it's got there.
yeah.
Just
A lot of
unbelievable how
A lot of
many.
people send stuff in and ask, to have it looked at, and there's lots of times where multiple people will send in the same case over and over, quite a few times. So for sure.
So we do have a few more to get out to you guys. The rate that it's going, there may be more added to that. But there is a team down in Texas, and I want to say he goes by Blue Water Diver, if I'm not mistaken. I've spoken with him a couple times on the phone, and I want to reach back out to him, get to know each other better. We have several cases down in Texas, and he's a certified diver. He runs sonar, and he's already said that if we had cases down there, he'd be willing to help out. And if we had search locations, he would go out and do the searches. So I want to reach out to him. And I'd like to find a few other teams like that, there's some teams out there I would rather not work with. I don't feel their priorities are right. Some of these I could be off on. I just don't want to risk that. But there's some teams out there I would love to work with. So I would like to find more teams that we do trust that we can work with and be able to get even more locations searched in a quicker amount of time. Because some of the cases we have, if that search has to wait for us to do it, I don't know how long it's going to take us. Say if we needed to go to California to do a search, that's not something that we can hop in the car next week and go. The majority of us work full-time jobs, so that plays a factor. Financing. It would be nice if we had the following that a lot of these other teams do, that, that money's coming in to help do that. but not having that plays a factor as well. So I just think having other teams that Echo Diver, really good one. I trust that guy. And if I had a case down around his area and we do have some, I do want to talk to him and get him on some locations down in that area. We had OK Diver down in Oklahoma. It sounds like he may soon be back to really looking for missing people. Still going to be in contact with him to find out. We've got a lot of cases in Oklahoma. I mean, we almost got as many there as we do in Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah.
So if we can get a team there to be doing searches there too, that's local, these areas are going to get searched a lot quicker than waiting on us to get the time and resources to go do that. Now Alex went to check on the pizza rolls.
He did. He just left completely.
And this is going to be kicking us off soon. Normally it does it at 2.5 hours, and we have skimmed by that so far.
Yeah, I'll probably be any second.
So guys, we probably should go ahead and shut this down for the night, but we'll get those new cases out to you. We'll get the Carol Solon's recap case out to you guys. Let's see here. Any chance you can get the current administration to help would say police have a separate organization set up to train people in this kind of search. That would be cool. Anytime that you can get people trained to do this, it's just an added benefit. You know, some of these cases they've been missing for so long and the case has gone so cold that it pretty much takes outside teams like ours and these other teams to go in to do the searches to find them. Anything like that would be great. So guys, we're going to go ahead and shut this down before it boots us off, and we will see you guys down the road. You all stay safe.
See you all. Thank you.